Hello all, welcome to another exciting BGP configuration tutorial. Today's topic would be BGP path selection based on weight, the attribute weight. So I have been made many videos on local preference, AS path preference, but did not made any specific video on BGP attribute weight. So I got a request from one of my subscriber to just do the configuration and explain how we configure and how we deploy that. So weight is a BGP attribute, and that is, I think, weight is the top on the hierarchy. As you all know, the BGP path selection, there are many criteria, many hierarchy levels on there, right? Categories. So weight is on the top. Highest is the weight. So basically, the highest the weight, the more BGP. I mean, that's the one the BGP selects. Second, after weight goes to highest local preference. Third goes to prefer locally originated routes. Fourth goes to AS path preference. Then comes the lowest origin type. Then comes the lowest mid value. Then BGP. The sixth comes prefer eBGP over IBGP. Then so forth, so on, right? So especially the topic of this video is the weight attribute, right? So basically, BGP weight path attribute is the first path attribute. BGP checks in the election of the best path in the BGP table, and this is only a Cisco proprietary, specific to only Cisco hardware, Cisco devices, right? You cannot go and configure this on Arista. I haven't tried, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to work there. Weight is, like I said, is a Cisco specific, so just keep that in mind, right? So as you see here on the topology, I have router 1, router 2, router 3 here, and the external switch 1. So basically, between all these four devices, Cisco devices, we have eBGP running because they all have a different AS number. I should have mentioned the external switch 1 is running on the AS number um, 400, right? So should run sec BGP. I already did this configuration so that I can keep this video short and save some time. I believe if you're watching this video, you pretty much know how to configure basic configuration on the BGP, but I will still go show you what are the configuration I have here. So basically, my external switch is sitting in the AS number 400. It has two neighbors, router 2 and router 3, as you see here in the description, and I'm using redistribute connected. Basically everything hanging off external switch 1, I'm advertising it. Let me show you what networks I have here. Show IP interface brief, EMSI. Why is it barking at me? And right. Okay, so we have this loopback interface 0, loopback interface 100 and 200, and so we have similar IPs. So I have full BGP configured between router 1 and 2 and 3 and external switch 1. So the topic of this video would be, we'll see what router 1, which path it selects to reach to this network 100 or 200, right? Let's say let's 100. This will be specific network will be focused on. Is it taking the path from router 200 or router 300? We'll first figure that out. Now that once we figured that out, which route it is taking, we're going to say, like, if it's taking the 200 as a preferred path, we'll change it to 300. For some reason you don't want 200 to be a preferred route, we'll change that to route number 3 to reach to the external switch 2. So there are two ways you can do that. You can configure everything hanging off the external switch 1 should take the router 3, not router 2, or you could only pick up one specific network, like loopback 100 on 100 is take router 300, rest of the networks to 200. So to avoid the confusion, let's do one thing here. Let me copy this address 100.100.100 and hop on to the router 1 and do a quick trace route 100 and see which route it's taking. So it's taking 192.158 1.2 and 172.168 1.2. So it's preferring router 2 to get to the external switch 1. Basically, if I do show IP BGP, all right, for my 100 dot network, I basically have two entries in my routing table. If you see here, right, 192 168.1.2 and 192.158.1.2, this one and this one, but the preferred one, this guy, right, if you see greater than symbol, this is the preferred route. 192.158.1.2 is the preferred route. So our challenge, our task would be to make 168.1.2 as the preferred and not 192.150 as preferred. And before we do that, let me also show you here the weight, right? Anything under weight 32768 you see here, this is locally originated. I mean, these are the routes locally connected onto my network, right? And anything we are learning, any networks are prefixed, we're learning externally, those will be under weight 0. So we'll change this weight 0 to weight 100 or whatever, you can go ahead and do it, but I would prefer something above 0. It could be 1 or 10 or 100, whatever you call it. It's up to you. It's your choice, right? Right, so let's do that. Once again, now I see this entry 400.100.100, which is hanging out to the external switch 1. The preferred route is 192.158.1.2 for router 3, AS number 3. So we'll change that to router 200. And how am I going to do that? So I will go show run sec BGP. I will show you what BGP configuration I have here. It's pretty simple, same thing. I'm redistributing my BGP, redistributed connected, and neighbor, nothing specific, nothing fancy here, just the description and the remote AS command here. So let's do that. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, everything. Let me go into the external switch. If I trace out to any of this network from the router 1, it would take the same route, which is from the router 3. So if you want to do that, we can just put the weight on the neighbor itself. But so like you don't want all those network, we only want one specific route from this guy, from external switch 1 to be advertised through router 3 and not from router 2, right? So the topic would be today only this specific, so let's focus on this one here. So what I'm going to do, router 1 here, first we'll create a IP prefix list for that particular network we are interested in. So IP prefix list, show IP, let me see if I have anything. IP prefix list, show IP, oh, you show IP prefix list. Something wrong with my typing today. Do show, wow, do show IP prefix list. You know what, let's get out this, show IP prefix list. Alright, so I already have this IP prefix list created here, right? 10.10.1.1.1 is pretty simple. So we'll create a route map and we'll bind this prefix list to the route map. So connect we'll create a route map. Let's call the same name, right? Because we are targeting our network which is hanging on the external switch 1, so I'm going to choose the same name for prefix list as well as my route map. You can go and choose whatever name, but something you need to make sure that that name should describe what the heck that is, right? So be careful about that. So route map for me, okay, match IP address prefix list, what, set weight. Like I said, you can pick up anything from 0 to 65,535. So I'm just going to pick up, select something called weight 10, right? Anything above 0, I could choose 1, 2, 3. Just let round it up to 10, right? So 10, and then show run sec. So now that we created our roadmap, we're going to call that roadmap and select 168.1.2. Before we do that, let me do a trace route one more time to confirm. 168.1.2 is taking 158, which is going to router 3. So we will be targeting, we'll be making that specific route to take the router 2, right? So what I'm going to do is now, so router BGP 100, right? So my neighbor 192.168.2, this router 2, this guy, right? Select that, right? And call our route map. Just put the route map here. I will go and copy the name instead of typing because I don't want to do a typo and any sort of errors, right? What is my route map? All right, route map. I will just copy the name from here and make sure we can put this route map in outbound as well as inbound. So when if you're doing that outbound, you would be putting on this interface on external switch the egress exit traffic, right? But the whole purpose of the weight is anything we configure on router 1 locally, that will be preferred one. What I mean is you can put any weight here while giving it out, but an route map, if someone just go and select from outbound on external switch, you put a route, you know, the weight 100, so it prefer 200, that's fine, it will take it. But on receiving end, if they put a weight 1 for this specific route, then it will be preferred. Say on this one they prefer to put a weight 1 or 0, whatever it is. So based on the local configuration, it will prefer. So this might not have any value by the time it reached 1. So this the goal is to, on the receiving end, you make the configuration so that anything locally configured on the BGP is given the priority. That's the whole reason why I'm configuring that on the router 1. On the inbound, the traffic coming inside the router 1, so we'll call it in. And then I will clear my BGP. I will reset my BGP sock. I will do one more time. Show IP BGP summary. All right, now let's do a trace route and see what happens. Okay, now you see it's taking 192, 168.58. Let me see what. Okay, 192, 158, 1.2. Still, it's doing the same behavior. It's not taking router 2. Let me see why. Check BGP. Let me clear this one more time. Let's go and check our BGP configuration. And let's not panic. Right, router 160, 168, 192, 168, 1.2, route map, external switch 1. Let's do step-by-step verification. What's wrong here? Show route map, external switch 1. And we're binding to IP prefix list here. Show IP prefix list. Show IP prefix list. Oh, I'm sorry. There is a typo here. If you see that the prefix list, instead of 100.100.100, we are targeting only 10.10.1. So let's go and fix this one. On FT, let's say no IP prefix list one. Let's configure this again. Equals 10 permit 100.100.100.100/28 and try the prefix list. Okay, we got our prefix list corrected here. So these are the small tiny things, the typos and this kind of stuff. As a human, we always make errors, right? And that's a good that I made an error and you have seen what I have done mistake. But you see, it could cost so much time and delay to bring the BGP up or to have a desired configuration outcome of the BGP. So it is pretty important. It is very critical that you make sure whatever you're typing, verify each and every time you do that, and do always use a ground up approach. All right, now let's clear that and let's see what happened. 192, 168. Let's clear the BGP. Right, soft. All right, so there you go. Before I reset the BGP, it was taking 192, 158, 1.2, 172, 160 this route. Now after that, the new after it reset the BGP, our new the best route is 192, 168, 1.2 this guy, and 172, 158, 1.2. And if I do any other route other than 100, which is hanging on to the external switch 1, say let's pick up any other network, right? 200. And I expect this 200 route to still take the router 3 because we are not targeting that. See, 192, 168, 1.0, 192, 158. But in case of our 100.100 route, we're taking one 72 158. So this is how you can pick and choose any specific targeted route to load balance, right? So in this video we used BGP attribute weight. In next video we will do a local preference. I mean, I have already made a video. You can go and check it out. Maybe upcoming video I will make locally originated route or AS path preference, the other attributes which are also very important. So that's how we can do that. All right, thank you so much, and I hope this video made few things clear to you and made any sense. And if you have any comments, feel free to post those comments. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Please subscribe, hit that like button. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for your valuable time. See you in the next.